roundabouts at each intersection, which will slow it down to 15 miles an hour. And my take on that, you go ahead, build anything you want there. If your traffic is moving at 15 miles an hour, people might come there one time and say this is nonsense and never come back again. I mean, I understand idealism, but idealism is not translatable into individual people's want and needs. And the people who are going to be your customers for these developments are individual people. So that's one thing they could do. They could add lanes. Another thing they could, have you been to Tampa lately? Highway 60.
Yeah.
You see all the construction?
Yeah.
You see the pillars and the road up there? You can put one of those right down the center and have 2 train tracks. And if you wanted to, you could use the kind of trains that act like horizontal elevators. In other words, you're at a train stop, you push the button, and even in the middle of the night, the train comes. You know, it's electric. And you get on, and you push a button where you want to, the stop you want to go goes to that stop. Now, you'd start out with like 1, 2 cars. And as it became more popular, more and more cars, you would be moving people rather than cars. So for the cars, you'd have to have a parking structure on the other end. But anyway, you could do that too.
Okay.
I think people would be more familiar with lanes. They would rather have lanes and parking structures at the individual buildings rather than this train. I've suggested it before. People react to it as it's a very alien idea. It would fly in New York, but Sarasota people are from the Midwest primarily, and so you know they can't conceptualize it.
What specific steps can the city commission take to improve Sarasota's economy, city economy?
I'm not sure they can do anything. I mean, they like to, the president likes to think he can improve the economy. Well, we're going to have a stimulus now. Well, that stimulated some people's economy. The people who got the money, how much did you get?
Nothing.
You didn't have your hand out properly.
I know.
Yeah.
It always comes with strings. Yeah.
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 Yeah, you have to kick some back to him. That's what the string is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at election time. But he's permanently running for election, so you'd have to kick back to him. But not as much as he'd give you. Because what he's giving you is other people's money, and what you're giving him is just a portion of what you've got.
Right. Okay. Something related to that, to the city's economy. You know, all of our good friends, the Benderson Development Company is building this big mall out by University Parkway. Lakewood Ranch continues to grow. It seems pretty obvious that that area is going to increase the competitive pressures on Main Street, St. Armand's, South Side, Southgate. So is there anything you think the city commission can do to enhance or help the competitiveness of those important tax generating retail areas?
Whenever you talk to them, whatever you suggest, they don't like it. You look at their merchandise. I picked up a cap in a Main Street store. It wasn't, excuse me, it wasn't what I would call a boutique. It was like ordinary merchandise. I picked up the cap, like you put on your head. It was $35. I looked at it and I kind of set it back down and burned my fingers. I thought, the last 10 caps I've gotten were free. I thought, I don't know how you can help people who are doing that to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and sure enough, a month later they closed.
Yeah.
A good number of the stores downtown are chains. You know, you wouldn't know it unless you travel widely and go to other downtowns. But then you'd see like that dress store across from oak pollen. The yellow stuff. Across from Madison's, there's a dress store. It's a nice place. It's a place for you to sit and hold your wife's purse while she.
Eileen Fisher?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a chain.
Right.
Yeah. And I thought, you know, it looks like it's just some ladies locally have put together a store, and it's not. It's they kind of astroturf, you know, all these stores, you know. And so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think the city commission can do anything about that.
What's your position on the elected mayor idea?
Well, it's easier to corrupt one person than it is to corrupt five, isn't it? That, I think, is the thought behind it failing at the ballot box each
Right.
time, the last 3 times.
Right.
It's being seen as an attempt to subvert the will of the people. Were those gunshots?
No.
Oh, I hear the bang, bang, bang. So, I was under the impression that all of the former mayors are in favor of the strong mayor. That, I was told that's not true. That some of them only approve of an elected mayor, not necessarily a strong mayor. Well, what the difference does it make? It's another salary, and if it doesn't have any more power than the current mayor has, we'll just go on with what we've got. I think it's been all right for 60 years, and I don't think it's going to hurt anything to go on another 60.
Okay.
Especially if people want it.
All right. Let's see here. Did that. I've heard it said by some planning board member, said it to me, that a big part of the reason the Walmart situation over near Alta Vista became as big of a controversy as it did, and recently there was an attempt on North Trail by a couple physicians to want to develop a dermatology clinic. And that too became somewhat of a zoning controversy. And the planning board member said one of the reasons that these things have cropped up like this is because the city's zoning codes were written 3-4 decades ago, and they no longer apply to the modern world, and that the zoning code should be completely rewritten. What are your thoughts about that?
Completely rewritten is strong.
Form-based zoning or something like that?
That's strongly put.
Yeah.
Doing something like that would fall down here on the, you know, it would be a wonderful thing, but we've got a knife in our back right now, and we need to do something about the knife in our back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. All right, next question. I'm sure you've heard of Gil Waters. You know, he's been an advocate for closing off Main Street, building a walkover over Bayfront Drive. What are your thoughts about those two ideas?
Well, you know, I made a suggestion in one of my previous campaigns that they could get all the all the bayfront connectivity that they could stand with a couple of liveried drivers and 8-passenger golf carts. Park those golf carts there with a prominent sign that says free transportation to the downtown business district and return, and have these guys standing there with their golf carts right where they think their customers are, and see if they got any takers. Nobody wanted to do that. I think it would be a test of how many customers were really there. They don't want to test this theory. They want to use other people's money to build a multi-million-dollar project that they don't know if there's a need for it. Oh yes, if you build something like this, some people will walk over the bridge, but will they walk the next 2 blocks to go to the store that people want them to spend $25 or $35 for a cap? I think they should test it with something like the golf carts. Even if they bought the golf carts, they'd have $20,000 and maybe another $50,000 for wages for the people running this for the 3-4 months that it would be used to test it. I don't know why they didn't want to test it, unless maybe they knew damn well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Parking's an issue in St. Armand's Circle. Do you think the city commission should attempt to do anything about that?
There's an overlay district there. They've got a board, don't they?
There's a
St. Armand's
Business Improvement District.
Yes. Well, they've got a. They can vote to tax themselves to build a parking structure, or build a people mover from. What's that place where they have all the watercraft launching? It's right across from Bird Key. What do they call that?
City Island?
No, City Island is over.
Marina Jack.
No.
No?
Here's the bridge too high, and here's Bird Key, and then over here, a bunch of grass
That's
parking.
Bird Key Park.
Bird Key Park. If you've got an overload in certain times of year, park there and have the shuttle pick you up and go over there if that's it, or go beyond it. Go to Ted Sperling Park, or go to the beach, and have a shuttle, or have the shuttle make a route to St. Armand's and all that. You know, you could do that, or you could build at St. Armand's if you could get the land and get the funds together to build it. I mean, if they want to tax themselves on it, you know, if it's something that they could put their own money on. Of course, this would be subject to review by the neighborhoods approximated to it too, because they would have an input within the notification district.
So how would you feel if they said, hey, look, we'd like to use those tax dollars that are generated, we'll tax ourselves to build this parking garage, but you know these tax dollars that we're paying now that go downtown to you folks at City Hall, we don't want those to go downtown. We want those dollars to stay here to build our parking garage.
No. You pay the usual taxes like if you didn't have the overlay district. Then if you want something other than every other outfit gets, then you vote on the additional. You pay the additional, but you don't look for inputs from people who live out at Tuttle and Hyde Park. Yeah.
Okay, so we got five of you folks who are vying for 2 places, right?
We've got 6 of us.
6, that's right. 6
places.
of you, that's right. Because I've interviewed 5 of you now. Yeah.
You got to track down the last one.
Yeah, he's coming tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the 6 of you, there's only 2 slots. What makes you the choice for the people?
Well,
Why you?
well, you know what our president said? He said he's got experience campaigning. You remember that?
Yeah.
But in a way, I understood what he was saying, because as you campaign, you talk to more and more people, you become more and more aware of the issues. I and one other am the only ones that have been actually hitting the issues. The other ones dance around them. You know, particularly at the forums. I don't know if you were able to get them to come out in your interviews or not. But I think I've been forthright. I think I've got opinions, but I haven't hid my opinions. Now, one of the things I didn't talk about is that we're supposed to have a democracy, but if we have a strong mayor, then we maybe don't exactly. And for the last few years, last couple years, we've had a lot of what they call consensus. But the consensus is simply declared by the mayor. The mayor declares a consensus on this, then there's no motion, there's no second, and there's no vote. Any commissioner who wants to can at a later date run away from that decision and say, well, it was just going with the flow. Well, yeah, you've got the Pollens too. Yeah, everybody. So that's another thing. I think if I were put in the chairmanship, I would always ask for a motion. I think you might be surprised when you didn't get one or didn't get a second. A lot of times. And if I were rank and file, not chairing the meeting, and someone declares whoever's mayor at the time says, well, I think we have a consensus, I would say, well, if we do, let's vote on it. I move that whatever it is. And see if we've got a consensus. Maybe we do. Excuse me.
That's right. Need more water?
Yeah, probably. The oak trees are beautiful, but. Well. Thank you.
So why do you want to be city commissioner?
You know, I might not have made it clear in the past. I think that the commissions, to a great extent, have been doing really stupid things sometimes. And the example that started me on this was in 2008. They repealed an ordinance that prohibited spitting on the street.
I remember that.
And you know, I was over at Tempo News yesterday, and there was one lady on the editorial board said, well, actually, that was racist. I says, well, how? I said, it can't be a racial issue. White people or black people can spit. He says, well, no. It was just that the police were only approaching black people. And when they approached them, then they found they had drugs, and they busted them not for spitting, but for the drugs. Well, now, if that's true, then that shouldn't be. If a white person were to spit on the street or violate any other law, he should be ticketed. You know, white and black should be the same, always. She said it was being profiled, so I don't know, maybe it was. I don't think, I wasn't there when any of it happened. I don't know if she was. But no, I don't think it should be profiling. But I think it would be all right if it was against the law to spit on the street. And there are, every now and then there's examples of this. That thing, I was joking about the Flippy Bird, but by golly, something like that might pass. I mean, you know, and it might be 3-2, but there's some things government just shouldn't concern itself with. And there's been so much Mission Creek, they've got a finger in every pie. And it all costs money. And they're neglecting the stuff on top to deal with the stuff on the bottom. So that is what got me attracted to it at first. I said, you know, I mean, I was thinking, how can they possibly do such things? And so that's why I got involved.
Got it.
And it continues. Every now and then they'll have one.
Okay, well that covers my questions.
Good. I'm running out of gas here.
Okay.
All right.
Yes, pleasure chatting.
Well, thank you very much. I think you look nice with the bow tie, and well, maybe I'll even buy one someday.
Yeah, maybe you find one for less than $35 at that hat store.
They went out of business.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
well,
good.
Thanks.